don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. Combing your hair with your hand gives me feelings I don't understand. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just us two. You do this thing when I'm talking to you, like everything freezes and it's just us two. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you. Give it to me like world without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. World without you. Driving me crazy just looking at it. Driving me crazy just looking at it. You do this thing when you're biting your lip. It's driving me crazy just looking at it. You know me better than I know myself. I don't wanna live in a world without you.
Hello, hello. Welcome to another day. I'm doing a makeup stream here today. Hello, Scotty. Alright. Well, I try to help here or there's, or at least point people towards like tutorials or something that I found helpful. So, like if there's a certain thing that you have in mind for what you want to learn how to do, like as the long-term goal, that's how I sort of did stuff with Coral. Excuse me. Figured out what she wanted to mainly use Blender for, and then tried to like work from there. But never hurts to like watch random beginner videos on YouTube. There is the one. What I first ever started off on was following a donut tutorial by Blender Guru on YouTube, but that's like a follow along, but it doesn't teach super well. Well, I don't think I have any art skills. I'm good at fucking around with verts and stuff. But a lot of it just takes time and effort figuring things out, starting off with simple things like how does the interface work and how to like do things like move around the camera and or stuff like that. You know, all the different things, like what these different things are and stuff. Person that I like, after I get done with the donut tutorial, like I sort of felt like I made something, but I didn't feel like I learned anything. So I actually like went to the source, like Blender, it'd just be blender.org. Looked around, see if they had like any tutorials on the website itself. also check out the Blender channel on YouTube as well. They have some very basic tutorials about the interface and what all the different things do, and some of the basic hotkeys like Shift A Alpha will bring in this for adding in planes and cubes. Very basic meshes that you can start off with. Some of these things are from add-ons that are pre-packaged with Blender but aren't automatically turned on. It's a very customizable sort of thing. I haven't ever used Maya or ZBrush, so I don't know how in depth it is for like free add-ons or add-ons that come with it, but you have to turn on sort of things. I don't use any add-ons that you have to pay for, so a lot of the ones that I do use are just ones that came pre-packaged with Blender. But one person that I learned a lot of my modeling shit from through YouTube videos was Grant Abbott. I think it's ABBITT, or it's OTT. He's got loads of tutorials, and what I decided to do at the time whenever I found him was like I looked at his playlists and went to like his oldest ones and just started from there. And I made like a literal spreadsheet on I think it's just in Excel. It might have been on Google Docs, I forget which one it was. Well, Google Sheets. And made a whole thing as like the names of the playlists they had, and then had a true false sort of boolean set up for just being able to click and sort of like checklist it off, a little checkbox sort of thing, and it do a conditional format to make those cells red, so I know I already watched that playlist and I followed along. I did have a lot of those files, like the learning files, on this PC until I started getting like sort of low on space on my SSD. So I started to, I would just render out what I had made, and without making any alterations to it, just so it was like this is what it was whenever I spit it out. Initially, then I'd render it out. If it was just a still image, that's all I got. If it was something animated, I'd just turn into a GIF, and I still hold on to those. Then I got rid of the blend files because it's gonna start taking up some space as you do more and more shit. Like there's video editing stuff in Blender that I could probably use an example. Like anybody that's done video editing, you know, it's like first you start off with a big file to begin with your video file, then you end up getting all this other shit put in there, like the extra stuff that you add for effects or subtitles, etc., etc. So all those files can start piling up, but you know, I like to keep some of the older stuff, well, most all of my older stuff, just to be like, yeah, I came from doing this thing that ended up coming out to be extremely high poly count, and looks like, you know, kid did it sort of thing, to some stuff that I'm fairly happy with. Yeah, because yesterday everything got fuckered up with thanks to work stuff. But hi, Bacon. How you doing? Yeah, well, yesterday pretty much was something that had me up for 19 hours, I think it was total. because well, at least 19 hours. Tried starting to do my work stuff around like 9 p.m. I think on Sunday night. Shit was screwed up, so essentially I couldn't get things working with the remote connection until somebody got in the office, because I have no access to the rooms that have the computer that I use as a remote access thing. Like no physical access to it. It turned out the damn thing shut down because a power outage in the area last week, and nobody bothered to turn it back on. Hold on a second. But so that didn't get a hold of anybody. Like, well, nobody returned my calls until I think 9-10 o'clock in the morning. I got tired of fucking waiting. So I just went into the office, and while I was sitting outside, I called some of the people that I had tried getting in contact with for trying to get this shit fixed. Well, just mainly just getting into the room to try to work with stuff. And got a hold of somebody, went inside. He was in a meeting with his dudes, so still couldn't get a hold of shit. So I went and got a hold of somebody else that does work with the remote stuff, that was actually in the office for that day, and checked things out. Turned out the computer could be remotely accessed, but whenever it shut down, it messed things up with how I had things set up for going in. And turned out they're switching, well, they had started switching over to a new way to do remote access, but never fucking told me about it. So whenever my way went down, they're like, oh, we've been using this for like the last month or two. I'm like, oh, that's super awesome. Thanks for telling me. So after dealing with setting that bullshit up, getting back home, actually pulling my data, which took forever because middle of the day, traffic constantly coming in and out of the database and shit, while I'm trying to pull a nice chunk of the database for information. I doing my reports, getting emails from people that I usually send the report to at like 5 in the morning, bothering me about, hey, why don't we have our reports yet? It took a lot of effort on my behalf to not tell them, you're dealing with somebody who gets paid less than a burger flipper. Shut up before I delete every fucking ounce of data on you in this system. But eventually, when all was said and done, I pretty much didn't get done until I think like 4 or 5 in the afternoon. So yeah, 9 in the afternoon was whenever I started the night before. So 4 or 5 hour difference there. So 19 to 20 hours. But just trying to get shit done that usually I get done around between 4 and 6 in the morning. Lay down, take a nap until about 7. Get back up, do my kiddos homeschool. The biggest kick in the balls is yesterday, because of President's Day, he had no school. So I could have fucking slept in after I did the morning report, and then just started like I usually do around 1-2 p.m. to do work on the other reports that I do throughout the week to actually keep me occupied longer. So I was like, ugh. Whenever I got done, just so pissed off and stressed out, I was like, okay, I'll set an alarm for like an hour or two, try to take a power nap, do stream. That obviously didn't happen. Summary is likely going to be, why don't you just download it when I send it to you? Oh, God. I love whenever people ask these questions whenever Like, this is not how I do this stuff. Alright, I'm gonna be jumping into a VC here real fast with Coral and doing some bullshitting while doing this. So.
Wow.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hello.
How's it going?
Going okay. How you been?
Don't know. I'm a little tired, but that's about it.
Oh, I know how the tired stuff is. Are you doing some draws?
Yeah, I might.
Well.
I still haven't quite do. Oh, hello.
Yeah, you're using the right.
Hi, Dante.
Hello, Dante.
Hello.
Hello.
You're using the right PNG, reactive PNG for drawing. That's why I was asking.
Yeah. I'm thinking I might want to work on some of my other models or something. I'm not really sure yet. I still want to finish them, even if I'm not like always going live with them, because I could use them for like different streams. I'm not completely stopping.
Oh, the 3D models.
2D.
2D.
Yeah, 2D.
No.
No.
What if somebody pours water on you and you get all soggy?
I know. I just have to draw up another model then. It's okay.
At least you can say that instead of people that drop thousands of dollars on models.
Jesus Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't do that.
I could, but then I couldn't bring myself to beg for money saying that I had unexpected bills afterwards.
That's fair.
So I should go up to Coral and like, hey Coral, $300?
I don't like bothering people. I like to stick to my 3D stuff as well.
Oh.
Especially since I want to throw it into other things. Unreal. Maybe VR chat if I decide to deal with people I hate.
I couldn't do VR chat.
God damn VTubers.
Yeah, but it gets to a point where it's like, oh right, I gotta get out of here.
I feel that. I don't remember the last time I played. It's been a while.
Pretty sure the last time was
December 7th was the last time I played.
Holy shit.
It's been a little while.
October 9th for me. And I think I played that with you last time I played it.
I'm pretty sure I played it like 2 years ago, and I was with you, Coral.
Oh, jeez.
I still keep it downloaded and updated just because.
So do I. I keep it updated on the off chance that I do end up playing with my brother.
Get the random inkling to jump in.
Yeah.
Dropping
Wait,
thousands.
I've got the inkling to jump straight into No Man's Sky. I've been obsessively playing it for days, and it's still calling for me. No,
I actually watched Scrondo play that on in Alma's VC the other day. We just ended up chit chatting about like all the updates and all this other stuff, and it seems the new gas giants are pretty cool.
I don't think I've seen one of them yet.
Oh, I think they added it with the last update here. So it's like some pretty brutal weather on those things.
Oh yeah.
But you can actually find cobalt on the surface now, on those at least, instead of having to go cave diving all the time. Yeah, No Man's Sky.
Yeah, No Man's Sky.
Oh yeah.
I can't justify downloading that again.
I'm already launching it.
Endgame planets, yeah. But yeah, Bacon is like, I still don't 100% like what the hell I make, but eventually I get something that is at least usable, and is like, okay, before I end up completely hating this, I'm gonna at least use it some. And then I just been using this model for the last year, I think. Because I think this model I debuted New Year's Eve.
Understandable.
New Year's Eve and the New Year's Day for 2024, if I remember right.
Yeah.
I gotta figure. I really want to do a 3D model of the kobold, just in its goofy face.
Wiggly.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Wiggle, wiggle.
You gotta make it like wiggly and stretchy. You know? You
So,
pull it far enough, it just gets really long.
you know the original picture of the kobold?
Mm-hmm.
The one that I have?
The one
Don't you
that
want
I
to make
made
it like...
you?
No, like the like the
okay.
original one.
The
Oh.
Where it's just like the side picture of it.
Mm-hmm.
Just make like that, but it's like a slinky. It goes swing.
Yes! I can see it, yeah.
Only problem is
pull it
I don't know
hard
how to
enough.
use Blender.
It takes a little bit, but you got some skill with sculpting. You always try starting off with that, or just drawing.
I don't.
Drawing actually, I think, probably translates a little bit better. Because sculpting is more like your hands on and everything. You'd see it being like sort of weird was for somebody to do it that way, using a mouse or else just a stylus. But
I mean,
I imagine it wouldn't be too difficult to do it. It's just gonna take a bit of topology work.
yeah. Well, sculpt is your high detail model first. So ones that look like the Unreal Engine one that I had you use last time we did a little lesson where we went over to edit mode. It's like just model turned completely black because of how many vertexes it had. It'll be like that, and actually like my first couple sculpts were like that.
So this is literally what I'm thinking of doing. I'm just gonna send you the original picture. Just that, 3D.
Yeah, you could. That wouldn't take too long. Your first time sculpting it will probably jump up really high, but the retopo would be very easy to do. I'll put this on my
how to do it.
other screen. So if I were to just try to approach that, because I had something else in mind for what I was going to do in Blender here, but I could put that off for the time being. I don't know if you were there for where Coral and I like did the blocking out and stuff with a reference. Do you see that?
It's not.
Alright, so essentially like you would take that image and you would have to do an add-on where you go to edit and preferences in Blender, and whenever you go into that, it would give you a get extensions thing.
Yeah.
And you would have to look up planes, or is it image? They might change it. Oh, it's not even there. Maybe it's a default thing, but in general, which would be nice because that thing really confused the hell out of me for a long time.
Give me 1 second. I'm not even looking at it yet.
I'm not even sure if it's showing up on stream right now because usually it doesn't. It is.
I think so.
Well, Blender is, yeah.
Yeah, Blender is, but I don't think your other thing is either.
Yeah, I'm looking through my add-ons right now, so it's not a super big deal. VR format. So this might not be something you don't have to worry about now.
Maybe not.
Yeah, you might be able to just. It's looking like it's not a add-on that's even in my library right now, so it should be something that you can just do normally without having to download a damn add-on.
Oh, hell yeah.
But you could just drag and drop that from your file browser or file explorer, whatever you want to call it, into the scene here, and you'd line it up. Let me find a example image.
So, I have no idea how to use Blender. Let's see how this goes.
Good night.
Usually it's best if you have multiple angles of the thing, but I'm guessing that one isn't really much of a go ahead for that one.
I mean,
because some of those
what I could always do is just have two pictures just interconnected, making sort of like a background and try to mold it off of that.
Yeah, you can work it that way, or else you just sort of guesstimate it while you're sculpting. Hello, Grunkles.
Hello.
So,
right, now, how do I sculpt properly?
alright, so we brought it in here. Let me go to reset position and all that other shit. Front view. X90. Got a nice picture of Sister of Mercy here. So you can move around the reference image some, and this is obviously much more detailed a character. But if you're just running off just a 2D thing like how you got, what I like to do is Shift A, mesh, UV sphere, and once you got that pulled in, hold on a second, I'm just turn on screencasts. Nope. Hit M instead of N. Screencast. The last operator and keep it up there. Put that back down. And just give everybody a heads up. First ad hitting in about 5 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, this is from Warhammer universe, and I'm doing okay. How's everybody else doing? But so
Actually,
wait.
Cannon nest from the depth of this roller test?
Yes. Actually, I was thinking something else. So we end up just deleting that. Deleting the UV sphere. This is the way I actually taught Coral. I was thinking about a different way that I just recently learned that I want to try out sometime soon. A cube, then Control 2 by default should add a subdivision multiplier, which you can check with the little spanner off to the right hand side. And then in the upper part where it shows the 4 spheres with options underneath of it, you hit the drop down above where the options is.
Yeah.
And we go to object for wire color. That makes things a bit easier to see whenever you're doing stuff in X-ray mode, and are using a wireframe to sort of set everything up. Then we hit tab to go into go into edit mode, turn optimal display off on subdivision. Once you go into wireframe mode up at the very top, where the viewport shading just looks like the outline of a ball with the line down the middle, it'll turn it to look like this, where you can see this is what all the verts would look like and everything. The reason why we start up with a square, I explained this to Coral whenever we did this, is, well, the reason why we start off with the cube is, yeah, the UV sphere is nice, but the problem is at the very top of it, it'll have all these edges coming up to just one point at the top, which you would end up having to fix afterwards anyway. If you do something like this, it's all in quads already, so it's a little bit easier to fix things up, and it also helps out a little bit with whenever you're doing your topology. Retopology. But whenever you're doing this with your reference image in the back, try to remember, don't move stuff around unless you're in edit mode. Because it moves the object origin, which is that little dot there. I'm like hovering my mouse around. Move the cursor out of the way too. That dot is the object origin, so whenever you apply modifiers like the mirror modifier, I do right here just to show you an example. Not deform. There we go. Boop. Generate. We got the other part of it popping up over here, and it's all based off of where that origin is. You see, as I'm hovering around, no matter what, it's going to be mirroring it based off of where that origin is.
Okay.
So, whenever you're doing something like the arms, if you're already doing this, like it's not something you're obligated to do with the head or the torso, but whenever you get down to the arms and legs, if you're already in the habit of doing it to begin with, where you're moving around in edit mode. You don't have to worry about resetting the origin, so it goes back to this point. So whenever you mirror it, it stays there and it mirrors it properly on the other side. It's just a it's a convenient sort of thing. Just sort of get into the habit of doing it whenever you're doing a character model, and everybody can do their character models differently. It's like, hell, just go on Blender and look up a time lapse of making any model. You'll see people doing it where they start off with just a single vert and make the entire head first. And then there's others that start with doing the body, but in general, I see a lot more people starting with doing the head, but they'll do it in several different ways. They'll use a plane, or else they'll use a single vert, or they'll use a circle and work from there. Oh, I thought you were falling already. Welcome back. So, there's no wrong way to start it. There's no wrong way to like, keep going through it either. And this process might be a little bit longer than others, but this can also get you used to sculpting, which you do a lot of neat stuff with, especially if you start getting custom brushes brought into the mix, which you can literally make on MS Paint if you want to.
I'm gonna be honest. It went through one ear and out the other.
It's fine. Part of what I do with my stuff is like, you can ask me the same question over and over again. Is like, I'll try to show it and help out with learning it. So some of my stuff goes. So.
I will say, since my what I'm trying to do is really simple, I might start with sculpting first.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you how to set up sort of like sculpting sort of thing. You're still gonna need a mesh to start off with for sculpting anyway.
Yeah.
So get this brought up here, and I see I just went to ad break. Here, let's put you down there, and I'll start streaming from Discord so you don't have any delay. Talk to that little lizard guy, Coral.
Look at that.
The one thing that sucks with Blender is if you tried to, so far, like, anytime I've tried to share it on Discord, you've got to do, I have to do it through screen share. Otherwise, it gets really choppy for whoever's watching me on Discord.
Yeah, that's just with any program.
But yeah, so. So we got the head here. Scale it down. Probably would have been better if I used the bald version, but oh well. Just trying to like sort of keep the one front-facing character sort of thing, just since that's what you have, Dante.
Kind of a weird abomination of like front side, sort of like a flounder.
Yeah, it sort of reminds me of what the hell are those memes now? It's almost sort of like Coral's one emote with the super dilated pupils, and it's not the Ponfo one, or what the hell it's called.
No, it's
with the arms out and just only has like 3 fingers and shit. I think it's sometimes used for the memes with Pepe in it.
I don't remember.
I don't remember what the hell it's called.
Are you talking about my flame one? I'm trying to think of which one you're talking about.
I'm looking through them right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of confused.
Yeah.
This one?
Can't see which one you're saying is this one.
Your,
oh, that one.
I'm not
No. Let me see.
I am so good.
I'm just as confused as you are.
Oh wait, it's not one of your emotes.
Is it a stick?
Emote, is it?
been posted. I know I've seen it and like it posting and
Is it the
it's
sticky?
the one. Okay, if you go on the cave floor and you scroll up
Oh, okay.
with
I know which one it is.
well, I'm trying to see like if it's a more recent one, but no. If cave floor, you'd have to go up a little bit back to February 12th. It was you then Grozzo posted
Oh
it.
God, the photo. Oh no.
It sort of reminds me of that.
What
The whoa, that's what it reminds me
Oh,
of.
You can't hide, Carl. I know where that meme's from.
I don't remember where it's from actually.
Well, I'm gonna leave it there.
No, I need to know.
Okay,
You
give me a
can't leave
second.
it hanging. Like, message
Fine,
me.
I'll message you.
I think I know what it is. I'm just trying to remember.
I can't. I'm trying to I'm brain farting on which one it is right now myself because I'm trying to think how to do this.
But it's a specific animator. I think. Is it right?
Hit me with the message. I need to know now. Lesson
It's
on
alright.
pause for the time being. This is more
Oh,
important.
man. Yes.
The memes.
It's the most important thing.
Well, I got into making 3D models so I can shitpost, so of course I'm motivated by any memes.
Yeah! You got it.
Hmm?
It's a little guy. It's the awa. I don't know. It's ridiculous.
Oh, I want me?
You know what? I'm not gonna show you what the meme's really known for.
Withholding knowledge.
I am withholding knowledge.
My freedom of speech. Speaking of which, poor Germany.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Blender can be fun. I mean, I taught my kiddo how to set up the basic sculpting setup. Which, if you want to go really basic, you throw in a UV sphere, subdivided by 2 or 3 times, 6 if you want to get really crazy with it, or have a really good computer, and then jump into sculpt mode and start pushing shit around.
Like you do.
Do you have any ibuprofen, Coral?
I've actually seen a few drawings like
I've
that.
heard that meme before, but I don't understand it.
I don't get it either.
I don't get it. I have no idea what that
So in the
means.
meme, right? She gets hit with a car.
Oh.
Hmm.
She's like, you got any ibuprofen? I got a headache.
Oh my god.
Shenanigans. Awa? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Awa. I need to know.
But hello, Kenneth Soto. I'm currently using Blender version 4.3.2.
I am
I'm
too.
currently playing No Man's Sky.
Yeah, you could use it to make custom work, boys, for Warframe. Not Warframe, Warhammer. Ugh. Was talking a bunch with Van Hat and Alma's channel about Warframe stuff because they got events going on. Alright, so might be official, but I'm not. Yeah, screw that. Alright, so we got the head here, and that would be its own thing. You could always get a side view, and since I guess it has like an elongated head, you can like hit Y and like sort of stretch it out, maybe rotate it some to get that sort of downward pointing nose. Probably even stretch it on the Y, X a bit too. And I'm just using her as something to have in the back. I wish I was good enough with hard surface modeling to be confident to go after this while live. This is a lot of hard surface. A lot of it. Yeah, like everything in Warhammer that's the humans is just hard surface modeling. Warframe stuff. Yeah, I usually do Warframe on Wednesdays and Fridays. And usually I do a random sort of thing on Monday, either art or last Monday I played a game about digging a hole.
Diggy diggy hole.
Yep, I found a 10-hour loop of that and played that the entire time I played that game.
Amen.
I beat the game in about 4 hours, so.
Damn, alright.
Yeah, but the game is programmed so that the achievements don't unlock until you beat the game the first time. So anything that you did do before that does carry over for unlocking achievements, but like some things like one for digging 40,000 times, I think it was, resets back to 0 for the new game. And hello there, Filma. Welcome. Just doing like an example, I'm not actually doing a Sister of Battle at the moment. It's just like an example thing of how to set up, having a reference in there, and how I set things up for starting to sculpt. Alright, so we got the head, and what I like to do whenever I come out of edit mode is I'll come up here to the outliner. Sure. And rename it to head. So I know that's the head. Bring another cube, subdiv, optimal display off, then back into edit mode. Are you? I am fine. A little bit tired, but I gotta reset my sleep schedule. So, how about the?
Understandable, my dude.
So something like the body, then you just move it around in edit mode. Just move the bottoms down. Move the top up some. This is like very super rudimentary because I'm just trying to explain this. Always remember, like, go back and forth between your front view, which you just have to hit number pad 1 to be in front view, and number pad 3 will take you to side view. And to highlight everything, you just hit A to highlight all.
Alright.
If you double tap A, that'll also deselect all. Be nice if I re-highlighted it again. G is move, Y to restrict it to Y-axis. We'll just move this back here, just so it's connecting. And that'll be sort of our super duper simple example for now. And body. So we'll select both of those. You can just shift select between meshes, or else you can go to the outliner, hold down control to get the two different ones, since I got the empty in between body and head now. Then we'll go into sculpt mode. And the first thing you're going to have to do is, like, if you go into the material, you'll see it's like very
rough.
Well, it's very rough because I didn't shade smooth. Like I said, this is just a very basic example. But you see like the outline of the meshes still. What we'll do is remesh first, which will make it so that you'll have a higher poly count, but that means you have more to work with for whenever you're moving around the clay, essentially. But remeshing will get rid of this overlap, so this will become one mesh then. Another way you can do it also is, like, if you go back to object mode, you can Control J to join them, and instead of having to reselect them all, and anytime like you might come back to mess with things, but go back to sculpt mode, it'll still have, it's harder to see, and whenever it's like this, as an example, you gotta zoom in and get into the mesh. You see the other mesh is still there, so it's not gone. But when we go here, and for anybody that watches tutorials about this, if I'm like going too fast or something, which I try not to do, whenever I'm doing the stream, a lot of older tutorials might tell you to do Shift R. If you're using a new version, I think it's like 4.2 it happened, they changed how the remeshing is. All you have to do is just hit R, and it'll bring up the remesh thing. So if you're watching something that says Shift R and this like grid comes up, they're using an older version. It's not that big a deal. It's the same thing, just R, you know, instead of having to hold down Shift and do it. And I will say, all the older tutorials, even ones from almost a decade ago, you can still learn something from them. So might be something to give a watch to, especially since they have less features than they do now. So they had to find workarounds and all this other shit. So it's interesting to see what has changed over the years.
The knowledge is invaluable and useful for learning off of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that is like a most recent change that it might confuse some people that watch any videos that might be like 2 years old, and it's like, why isn't it bringing up the grid whenever I hit Shift R? That's just something that they changed, and a lot of people didn't bother to make a new tutorial for it just because they just changed one thing that you don't do until like halfway through the tutorial that they're trying to do.
That's diabolical.
It is.
It'd be that way, and it's like, it's hard to keep up on all the patch notes for Blender because they do update fairly frequently, which is good because that means they're hitting a lot of bugs and also trying to add in features, or else take very popular add-ons and they actually try to work with the developer of these add-ons to integrate it into Blender. Like the asset library thing used to be just a add-on that you had to download from an external site. Now it's a part of Blender normal. So it's a very helpful thing.
It's
I mean,
interesting.
they could at least go to the description and be like, yeah, they changed it. It's R now.
Yeah.
They could, but
Thank you very much for the follow, Atomic.
It takes like 5 minutes, Cole.
5 minutes to go and comment one thing.
Yeah. Well, that also, if you are watching an older one and you can't find what you have to do, go down to the comments, organize it by newest first, and you'll most likely find somebody asking or complaining about what you might be having trouble with. So always check that out before you have to like start looking through Googling it, and then like looking through the Blender forums and all other crap that will pop up. Your answer might already sit below the video that you're watching. But so the thing with the grid is, as you can see, as you move your mouse around, you'll see that like it gets smaller and bigger. Of course, the smaller means you're gonna get much more verts out of the stuff whenever you go for it. So like I'll do an example one of have it that small bit where I just set to 0.1451. You go up in the top, the little remesh button that's there, you'll already have it set to whatever voxel size you set it to, which is what that's called. Then you hit remesh, and ta-da, I got a nice block now. So you obviously would like to keep it low poly whenever you're remeshing it, but it doesn't always work out that way because then you get stuff like this. But it makes it sort of easy for me to show. Now that we go inside, you can see that the meshes are combined. They are sort of like welded together or merged together, whichever way you want to say it. So that's what the remeshing will do after we put our model together. Like if I did the whole thing of the Sister of Battle with arms, legs, hands, torso, it'd take me much longer to show this whole thing just to get to doing this is how you'll do it in sculpt mode. But of course, Control Z works in Blender as well, so you just go back one step. There is a setting that can let you go back 500 steps if you want to, but you have to go into your preferences and change it. I forget what the hell mine's set to. I think I'm like 25 or something I can go back, because usually I don't have to go back that far. But yeah, Control Z still works in Blender for undoing stuff. So we'll try a higher Vox size. Oh. No, we'll redo this one and I can show the topology. You see how it's sort of changed now? Where there is much more verts to it, but for whatever reason still turn my quote-unquote model into a box with a bump or a vent.
It's like a post office.
Yeah, almost like a drop-off. Yeah. Ta-da! Just what I was going for.
This is planned all along.
Yeah, but so this is sitting at about how many tries we got? About 4,500 tries with a voxel change like that. But if we go back, to go back to object mode actually. So, yeah, in this mode, with the subdiv off, we're sitting at yeah, 12 faces, 384 tries. Even with subdiv on. Subdiv off, it still likes to kick out to that because I forgot. 24 tries whenever it's with the subdiv off, even though it goes back to being a box post office thingy.
Yeah.
It's got scholars because of all the stuff in Blender.
Hello, Atomic.
Yeah, welcome. But so we'll have to go back to sculpt mode here. Show you actually doing a higher thing, which you'll end up seeing a higher density. What would be good? Probably try it about 0.03 at first. You're gonna have to mess around with this, so you'll be Control Z a lot if you're doing it this way to maintain detail but not blow your computer up. Nope, still didn't do it. But I guess I'll still show what this one looks like. So this is a much more defined looking post office drop off. But we go into edit mode and it's just a glowy then. Those are all verts.
Oh, holy crap.
Yeah, that's jumped it all the way up. Jumped it all the way up to 111,000 verts. Well, tries.
God damn.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So remeshing does do a lot. Changing what things are. Hold on 1 second. I'm gonna actually apply the modifier here. Control A. Let's give that a retry here. I want to see if. Yeah, that was stupid. Sorry, I forgot. You'll have to apply the modifier before you go into sculpt mode. My apologies, everyone. I am tired. And sober, sadly. But still,
well, we gotta fix
really, really high
Fix that quick.
density with remeshing it. But because it's got the high density, like, you can get very nice sculpting wherever you're doing that. Where if we take, I'm going back to this is like the base. We try to sculpt it, and it moves, but it doesn't look as good. You want to be moving it around like clay, so that's what our remesh will give us, a more pliable structure to work with. Say is that, yeah. Boop, remesh. And it also makes sure that it's all together. It gets rid of the faces and stuff that would be inside between these two meshes that we had combined and where we built up our model. And to do this, I did roughly 0.03, 0.029 for a voxel size. So if you're starting off, like I said, you might have to tinker around with how low you take the voxel. I was saying high initially because, well, you take that number down lower, your poly count's going up higher and higher. So just don't take it too low, because I have crashed Blender before going too low with that number. Biggest thing, whenever you first get it converted over, you see how like that crease looks like garbage.
Mm-hmm.
What I would do to start off with is, if you hit F is the default key for changing the size of your brush.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same for whenever you go into texture painting and stuff too. All you have to do is just tap F, move your mouse around to get different sizes, and then left mouse button once, and it'll set that size. So you can also adjust the radius at the top too, but hotkeys, they're faster. Then you can either pull up the smooth brush, which they recently changed this as well, actually. Coral, you probably remember me talking about how they changed the brushes at the being at the bottom instead off to the side. They recently changed this, and we actually had like a whole stream just going over how they changed it and stuff.
Yeah, I remember that.
But there's smooth right there. So smooth looks like some genital words with a nice white area in the beginning. Oh, in the center. Yay. But you can click that, or else by default, all other brushes, if you hold down the shift key and then left mouse button, it'll do the smooth operation. A lot of people use that so that they can get like, come in here, and right now by default you should be set to the draw brush for whenever you first go into sculpting, and draw like raises it. If you hold down control, it lowers it. But you can like do like that and dig this out, then hold down shift, or if you're using mouse and keyboard, just clicking is usually enough while you go around. If anybody's using a tablet and a stylus, pressure controls are on by default, so harder you push down on the stylus, the harder the strength is for doing the smoothing. Same for everything else. But usually I'll just come in here, make the brush real big, and hold down the shift key and just sort of try to smooth some of this out. So it gets a little bit more closer to what we're trying to shoot for. And
Is a friend.
hold on, opening some cat food.
I can safely say
Yeah.
I do not possess the cognitive function.
For what? Cat
It
food?
takes time.
I've been doing this for about 4 years, so I still feel like I'm
That's
shit.
okay.
But I'm always willing to try to help people along with the journey. But as you can see, like, I'm just going in here, just doing little. You can probably hear the mouse clicking too as I go along. Just doing little clicks here or there while holding down shift. That's also why I got the screencast keys on the lower right corner, which, yeah, I'm not covering them up on stream, so that's good.
Yeah.
And the ad's starting in about 2 minutes. Apologies, everybody.
No worries.
But this will help get rid of like those edges from wherever you applied the subdiv modifier, but it didn't like fully smooth out.
Yeah.
But you can do that, just get it sort of smoother. But as you're doing this, you'll have your reference image in the background still. I just hid mine for the time being, so people aren't being misled coming in here thinking that I'm doing an actually cool, like, fucking Warhammer related thing. I'm just trying to teach people.
Warhammer, but it's a bean.
Yeah, bean hammer.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun 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 dun. Well, everybody went crazy over that one Bean movie thing, animations, so maybe I'd pick up off of it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I haven't ever actually watched it. I just seen the dies of.
Really?
I've only just ever seen the dies of cringe reactive.
Honestly, it's not that bad.
Well, I mean, didn't it get like an actual like full movie release or something, or a game? Can't remember which it was.
Oh,
I think so.
But yeah, so we got our smooth bean with a little sprout coming out. Yay! But that's what you can essentially do. You just go around holding down shift and clicking in areas using the mouse, letting go, like use middle mouse button to rotate around. Shift and middle mouse gives you the panning. Mouse up, mouse down, mouse wheel up, mouse wheel down to zoom in and out, etc. But doing sculpting, you'll be like just probably end up having a very tired pinky after a while. So again, I'm changing the size of the brush using F as the hotkey. Come in here,
So smooth.
holding down Control, and just put in like a little seam here, and you can see like how it's still sort of blocky. That's just because of how many how many faces you essentially got to work with. Something about voxels my brain finally processed, and I like space engineer. Yeah, I know space engineers. Not a lot of games use voxels. Minecraft uses voxels. You could actually make stuff in Blender, and as long as the voxels are set correctly, you could import it into Minecraft as a model. But actually I got Minecraft shaders that are procedural as well. One for dirt, one for gravel, one for sandstone. But yeah, it's like you'd see like if I wanted to get rid of this, yeah, I got things pretty smooth. But if I want to get rid of it, like doing this sort of shit whenever I was sculpting, I would have to take the voxel size up way higher. And streaming, running VC Face, running Discord, running Chrome. I'm already stressing my I'm just happy it doesn't melt anything on top of my tower because I keep a picture frame up there. It's the only place that it's really safe for my kid. Yeah, that's how some would do gun mods, possibly. Blender isn't the only thing out there for doing 3D models. There's Maya and there's ZBrush that I know of. There's probably thousands of other programs out there too. So that's like one thing is like if you don't like how the UI is in Blender, you can always look at the other ones. Just sucks that some of them you gotta pay for. Yeah, you can say that you're a student and get away with getting it for a little while, from what I understand, but I think there's a time limit or something on it. I think it was Maya was the one that you could get a student version. Then eventually you sort of screwed because you'll have to start paying for it afterwards. That's just my understanding. I have done all my 3D modeling in Blender, and that's been free as long as it's been out. Which is, I
can understand that, yeah.
Yeah. I think a big part of, surprisingly, it's not actually like industry standard to be used for like 3D models for video games and movies and stuff. I forget what the hell the reason was, if it was like something with licensing or whatever.
Don't they make their own usually?
Yeah, in-house things also, but as a lot of people probably know nowadays, like there's been some like shit talking about how Unreal Engine is being used by a lot of these companies. Like Capcom is supposedly changing from their engine to using Unreal Engine. And that's because anybody can pick up Unreal Engine. You can go over to the Epic Game Launcher right now and download Unreal Engine for free, and it doesn't cost you anything unless you have to make $1 million. So, and that's why so many games are made on Unreal Engine. It's free and it's easy to pick up. Whereas something like Unity, you're going to be doing the same thing that I did with Blender, and what a lot of other VTubers have done with Unity for 3D models or putting their models into VR chat. You're going to have to dig up videos to learn how to use Unity. It's still the same with Unreal, but Unreal's got the backing of Epic Games already, and everybody knows Fortnite, so I'll go to the same model that to the same engine that Fortnite uses. I want to learn how to make Fortnite stuff. And so any like the game industry is like sort of like a little bit of a, I won't even say it's a joke because it mostly seems malicious whenever they're talking about it. Just like how they hate people that develop games with Unreal for whatever reason, where I think that that game about digging a hole was made with Unreal Engine. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
A lot of games are made with Unreal.
Yeah, so it's like, why is this shit talking going on just because it's free?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it's like, oh, sorry I didn't spend thousands of dollars going in debt to go to college just to learn something I've been learning online.
Yeah, it'd be a little bit weird to try to go and do that.
Yeah. I think it's the paperwork thing, having that diploma, feeling special.
People feel very special.
Oh, I've got...
While someone doing their same job.
Yeah.
Just a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah, that's what I learned all Blender from, YouTube. Maybe a few videos that might have been hosted on Blender's site itself. I forget if they even had any whenever I first started. I just remember a good bit of it was, wow, that looks sort of inappropriate at the moment. A good bit of it was actually done with, let me add some eyeballs to this before I get banned. Breaking my own rules here already. I forgot to go into edit mode first. Used to just doing hard surface modeling. Lead by example.
What example? A bad one?
I don't want to be too bad.
Nah, I'm joking.
I don't mind being normal bad. I don't want to be just chatting hot tub streamer bad.
No.
Speaking of which, hi Kriya.
Thank you.
I am too small brain for this.
How goes? It goes okay. No, well, like I said, I've been doing this for about... It's got to be getting close to 4 years now. I'd have to look through my Blender folder.
You have been doing this as long as my career in the army.
I think we had to talk about being in the service before.
Yeah,
I believe we have.
pretty sure.
Yeah. My brother was what used to be a mess specialist. No, it's a cuisine specialist. They went from being a monkey spanker to a cocksucker. I used to always mess with him about that, but I was a electronics technician, navigation division, subs. Yay! Completely useful skill set to have out in the civilian world where I can drive without seeing. Here I am working as a database manager, which I had no schooling in. Yet another thing that I learned online.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so I added eyeballs, but there's a completely separate thing. Which I think with my Zelda model that I have shown in the past, the eyeballs were a separate thing where I was sculpting. And so a lot of people will take a UV sphere like I did and just pop it into where they think the eye socket would be, or where the reference would show the eye socket. Then they start sculpting around there where they like dig out where the start of the eyelids would be, and then they'd work around from there. And actually, the eyelids would be sculpted as part of the mesh. So whenever it came up, whenever the eyes were open, the mesh would actually push in, so it'd give that creasing whenever you got your eyes open. Then others do it where they just put the eyeballs in there and then dig it out using the sculpt. I think it's the scrape brush, which would be, which one are you? Plateau, flatten. I just saw it. Scrape. So it's right next to crease, which looks like a little. Well, it looks like crease. But they would take like the crease brush. Well, not the crease, the scrape brush, which take this down some. Hard to see because it is. Again, I would probably have to remesh this. This is quite literally what its name says. It scrapes away. And they would probably set this to a full 1 strength and then just go where the eye is supposed to be and just keep going in circles until the eyeball underneath that they put in there starts showing. But again, with the crease brush, you can do, well, not the crease, but the scrape brush, you can just go in here and scrape things away. Another one that sort of functions like that, which I know a lot of people use for literally starting off with just a ball for their model, and then they make like a fucking complete dragon out of it. Yeah, there's some crazy talented people. Whenever you're just looking for tutorials, like, how do I not know about this person? It's like, oh, I did.
Hey, here's a fully functional Death Star I built with just clay.
Yeah, like, oh, I did modeling for like almost every AAA game that happened in 2020, but I decided to go into hiding because I hate people. You know, I don't know what their story is.
Yeah,
but the clay strips will literally be like just laying down. The more foundation you use this to add up to like it's good for if you're putting like the what is this, trapezius muscles that come in between your shoulder and your neck. You would go to where, well, we got a neck sort of thing here. You'd go in there and you just use the clay strips to sort of just try to add that in, just going back and forth, and then hold down shift and sort of try to smooth some of it out, and then like just slowly add to it. As the sculpting is a bit slower process whenever you first get into it, but then it can also produce some really nice models. Like the best model that I like that I've made so far was that Zelda model that I've shown. And she started off with this way. I linked it last stream for somebody else that I recently helped with some stuff with Blender. Where is you at? That's Linux. Hey, Onyx. Thank you. Hydrate.
I don't want to.
There we go. That's it.
Lord asking.
Oh, I think I've hit you with this before too, Coral. The brand sculpt. I'll put in a secret talk here. This is the tutorial that I followed along for doing the Zelda model, which I think I pretty much explained what I could explain with sculpting. It's like after you've remeshed, it's just sort of experimenting with the brushes to see which ones work for what you want to do. Like if you want to move just a piece, you pick the grab brush. Elastic, go with elastic, or else just flat out grab, and then literally just grab your nose and move it around, which would probably be a bit closer to what the picture actually looks like.
Then I do it for you. The big difference that I do know of, I haven't used
Elastic Grab and Grab 2D and Grab Silhouette are new brushes that I haven't experimented too much with, so I don't like talking about things I haven't used before. I'd rather explain from experience. But I have used a snake brush before, well, the snake hook brush, and that whenever you use it, it'll move stuff around, and I think I got some crackling on my side because this uses a lot of power whenever you're using a high pixel count. But snake brush will
One
like,
fucked up penguin.
yeah, the snake brush will actually like pull it out and add to the topology. So you can just keep on like sort of stroking it out, but you see, you start going too far, you get this tearing and fucking up.
So
Yeah.
she said.
So you gotta be careful with this.
Carl!
I'm fucking it too! You can't put that on me!
But I went back to the regular grab brush. As you can see with the regular grab brush, I'm pulling it out pretty far and it's not breaking. That's because it's not trying to add more topology. So you see, this is probably about the same distance pulled out with just a grab brush. This won't add more. The grab won't add more. The snake hook does. So that's why we got this fuck up here. There's like, I could just go over these brushes for a long time because they each can be used for different things.
They're all useful.
Yes, like, you know, if you want to use the inflate deflate brush, you just click that and make your penguin preggers. Or give them,
oh my goodness.
give them big old boobies.
Another way of saying I'm gonna draw you pregnant.
Yeah, try your shoes pregnant.
He cried.
Give you a nice set of quadruple D cups and a broken spine.
What God would have wanted.
Yeah. Then there's the cloth brushes, which are neat too. I love playing with the cloth brush. This is like using an actual cloth simulation, but you'd have to animate the mesh first before you started using it. But
Right.
whenever you're using a cloth brush, it's automatically doing the simulation in sculpt mode. So this could be really helpful for doing things like a messy bed, which I think we did in the past, Coral.
Yeah, we did.
Hi, Nautico. Hi, Bacchus. Yeah, cloth brush is one of the newer ones that was added with 4.3 or 4.2, like the base. Nautico. But yeah, I actually need to experiment with these more.
Absolutely gorgeous. Get your sausage in that.
Taco play. Oh, I don't think those are my normal commands to begin with. That's probably why. No problem. I always give the shoutouts whenever I can. How am I doing? I am a tired idiot. But I'm trying to sort of go over some of the stuff with
This is my tutorial. Most of you watching are gonna go, the f is that? That's what you deserve. This is who I am. A clown!
trying to think what my newest one is. Actually, a bite. That's the newest one. I think I sent you that video too.
So?
My favorite expression in English is the one that says never by the hand of the one that fingers you, something like that.
Stole that fresh from Twitter.
It's that looks like something wrinkly.
Yes. beautiful.
Beautiful, look at it!
I like the cloth
It
brush. It's
looks very
neat.
polite.
There we go. Sort of fixed. Sort of.
Mhm.
I don't know. Personally, I sort of like how it's like dead on. It sort of looks normal, but then you go woo.
Be one of those characters in the video games, like, oh, he looks normal from a distance. You get closer, like, oh my god.
Well, what are you made of?
Who did this?
What's doing your snoot?
Boop the snoot.
Booped it a little too hard and shoved it to the side.
Yeah.
Now he's fucked up.
But yeah, I think that's about all I could really explain with doing this without getting stupid technical with masking and a bunch of other fun things like that.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
But as you're starting off, again, Grant Abbott's probably a great one to look at for starting off. He's actually made models for mobile games before, so a lot of the models that he has you like do along with him will potentially be something that you could use in like a mobile game if you wanted to, or any game actually for that matter. But he is more, I think he has more of like an artistic background as well, so he does a lot of texture painting, whereas I like to depend upon materials and just flat out materials in Blender with procedural materials for getting like leather and cloth and fabric and all other stuff's going on.
Of course.
Each their own strengths, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like if you have any questions about like how do I do this or how do I do that, as long as I'm not stupid tired or really busy with like work or anything else, just hit me with a DM and I'll try to help out. I might even fire up Blender myself and just do a screen share like I am now, and you just boop follow along with that. But trying to think of anything else. Oh, and like I said, like you do like custom brushes, which are good for not just sculpting, but you can do it with the texture painting as well. Coral, you could probably import almost all of your all of your brushes from Krita over to Blender for doing texture painting.
Yeah. I could totally do that. That's really smart.
Yeah, and also one thing you might like, Dante, is since you want to try the sculpting stuff. If you do look at making custom brushes, you could literally have a brush designed for almost anything you might want to sculpt. Like, say you wanted like what's that stuff called? Flores or Florres, I think. It's like the flare, whatever the hell you want to say, is like around a mirror, like how that some of them have that gold. Gold is like it looks like gold anyway. Got like the vines and the leaves coming down, but it's all just in the wood. You can make a brush that whenever you put it in here, you would set the brush to anchor. Where would that be at? I need to explore where that is because I haven't messed with that too much. Oh, okay, so it'd be the brush asset thing. Where is anchor? Dynamic. Grab, pinch. It's like I don't want to mess with any of my default brushes, so that's one thing. I try not to mess around too much with default brushes because I use them for so many different things. I don't need the same thing for other stuff.
Yeah.
Clay, direction. Stroke. There we go, anchored. So it'd be click at the top for tools on the right hand side. It'd take you to whichever brush you have highlighted at the time. So you could also change some of the ones that are already there if you really wanted to. And then you go down to stroke type whenever you get your brush imported for what would show up here. And change it from stroke method space to anchored. and it'll make it so whenever you click, you drag off, and you see how it's sort of expanding.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is how you would add those designs. You could use it with, like, if you're making armor that has scratches from a sword or an axe chipped into it,
Right.
you literally do that, and it works on the same concept. For like, okay, normal draw. Whenever I'm going up and down the model, it'd be puffing out like how it is here, with where it's coming up instead of going in. But you want that nick in the armor, you hold down control and you drag it, and it'd be cutting into the armor then.
Oh.
So you cut a lot of time out making a brush. It might take a little bit to make the brush, but once you made it, you could literally go in and just drag, and I've seen people use brushes for like dragon scales, where it might not look great whenever you're just dragging it for like different patches to fill things in, but whenever you start going in and like adding another layer just to see how it looks with overlapping scales and stuff, it can look really cool. So again, it's like whenever you're first starting to do this stuff, yeah, it might look like shit's like, oh, this isn't coming out right, or else this next still looks like garbage seam. The people that are going to see this are going to see it from this distance and this angle. They can't see the seam. Don't beat the shit out of yourself out of something whenever you're up here looking at something that's like under a magnifying glass, technically. Like, you can't even tell that, like, the eyeball, you can tell here the eyeballs are still not smoothed out and everything, but if you're seeing it from here, it looks fine.
It looks fine.
You're not gonna notice it from further away.
Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. Like I said, it's one of those characters. You get closer, you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, and that's how it is. I have beaten the hell out of myself before over such things. Like, I spend hours just trying to get something right, and then take a moment, pull back, zoom back on the scene. Is like, I know this is what I'm going to be seeing it from. Even my model I'm using right now, I was like that a lot. But then it's like, okay, this is how it's probably going to look whenever it's on stream. So how does it look? And it's like, okay, that's cool, I guess. Then I'd click it over to rendered mode. Forgot to put a light in, so I'd put a light in and change everything around there. That's why everything went black. There's no light there. Well, dark. There's no light source whenever you're in rendered mode. You got to actually put one in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to remember, like, other than just what you're making, remember what your scene's going to be whenever you're making it too. How are people going to see it? It's like, are they going to notice this thing that you took 20 minutes to try to make, and up close it looks like some really shitty smiley face? But it's like just a button on somebody's shirt, you know?
Yeah, it's not gonna really make a difference.
Let's do some stuff for bed. Alright, good night, Atomic. You sleep well, and thanks again for the follow and stopping on by.
It was nice meeting you.
Remember, check out Coral's Hollow. This person that's chilling out here.
Mm-hmm. I might do a stream soon just for shits and giggles. Not today, but like,
Whenever you're in the mood.
I mean, yeah, like whenever I'm in the mood.
Oh, that'd be cool.
I'm already missing it so much.
Oh, the biggest thing I was concerned about is just you guys getting your head cleared out some and getting to spend some time with Keenan.
Oh yeah, I needed it.
Yeah. Not having to worry about the doggo being right up your ass while you're trying to stream and things.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
I might do one in like the afternoon or something just for the hell of it. But I'll just go live like once in a while for fun.
Hey, that'd be cool.
Just if I feel like it.
Yay. Trying to think of what else would probably be useful to go over with this stuff. Like, technically, learning the sculpting setup is sort of like a between new and intermediate, or all the things I just covered. But
yeah.
Again, it's always something that you always like just poke me and be like, hey, how would you do this? Or is there a way to do this or that? There are some things that you might want to do that just aren't something you can do with Blender. Like if you want to make a
I hit you back with no, get out of here. Mug.
if you want to make a video with an alpha to it, to use as like a redeem or something, it won't work. Not in Blender anyway. Only one that you could do that with is QuickTime for the video format, and almost nothing uses QuickTime anymore. It's all MP4. So, and usually the quality that I've tried in the past just looks like garbage. So I'd rather just recommend somebody use a green screen setup, which you can do in Blender too. Just if you want to make a routine with a green screen, you just Shift A, pull in a plane, rotate it on the X by 90 degrees, scale it up, GY, move it back on the Y axis, and make this back thing green. Whichever green you want to make for your green screen.
Oh, that's a lot of snow. Holy shit.
Oh, it is giving me shit. Oh, that's from the World HDR. I had a complete brain fart there. Like, I don't have a light source.
I'm scared. There's 4 inches of snow outside.
Well, I mean, that's less snow than we've got, so good luck.
Ah,
What's the temperature?
20.
That's it.
Yeah.
Fahrenheit, yeah.
8
We got
here.
-20 today.
Is that with wind chill? Oh wait, that's
Yeah.
Celsius.
Yeah, it's Celsius.
Yeah, -20. I don't know. I know regular temperature itself was 8 Fahrenheit
That'd be
here.
-5 Celsius, I believe. Or maybe -8. Maybe negative. I don't know. I don't know Celsius.
Negative burritos.
Basically, too fucking cold.
Yeah.
I don't.
It's
I don't
below
use-
freezing by 20.
It's so weird. I don't use Celsius in anything. Like I don't cook with
Same.
Celsius. I don't use medicine with Celsius. It's just
Technically, I can't think of anything that you'd use for medicine for Celsius.
well, you gotta keep medicines at certain.
Oh, certain temperatures. I was like, oh, okay. I'm thinking of dosing, like milligrams,
That's
milligrams per milliliter, and all other fun stuff.
Yeah.
Yep, good old vet time coming back to haunt me.
It all comes around and goes around, you know.
But one thing I can say here, I'll move my 3D cursor. So your 3D cursor is that little like rectangle looking thing.
Yeah.
Wherever that is, whenever you go to spawn something in using Shift A, could be plane, whatever the hell you pull from this list, it will spawn where the 3D cursor is. So if that ever gets out of place, you can hold down Shift and then hit S, or hold down S, and this little wheel will pop up, menu wheel. You just cursor to origin, then let go of those keys and it'll take it back to the origin. Reason why you'd move like the 3D cursor was you were working on something and say we wanted to add an arm here, you'd hold down Shift then right mouse button, move the 3D cursor to where you want to put the arm, spawn in the we'll say like a UV sphere you're going to use for it, and then just work from there and then return the 3D cursor whenever you want to the beginning. It's not something you're obligated to do before you do anything with the scene, but as long as you're okay with everything spawning in where that arm is, you can leave it there for the rest of the project. But problem with this, it moves the origin. That origin thing is what I wanted to get back to. So with our sculpt and everything, origin still set to dead center for and the big reason why you want to try to keep it that way, let me get rid of this damn thing. Having the origin there makes it so that whenever you go to retopologize this whole thing, which is something that I would want to cover in like a whole separate thing if we were going to go over it like this again. If not, you can always look up well, you can watch that video, that playlist I linked in Secret Talk, he actually does it this way too. Having that origin there means that whenever you go to do the retopo, which you would start off with like a plane, which is obviously fucked up as is since I moved the 3D cursor. He doesn't really ever move the 3D cursor during the tutorials, so we'll take it to how you would see it in the video. You would bring in the plane, it'd be right there. You would do the exact same thing. Go into edit mode first and start moving things around. I think he starts retopo on the head because that's where a lot of people start off, around the eyes. We'd go up here to the goofy ass eyes, change things around a bit so we can get things started, but setting it up, you would probably go into snapping, which is at the top. It looks like a little magnet thing, and hit face project is what, if I remember right, that's what he uses. Face nearest is a newer thing, and it's a great change to Blender that happened, because sometimes when you face project, you could be doing something like the arms, and where we put the stuff in for doing the arms, it could go to the other side of the arm that you're working on, so your shit will be all reversed. So now I use face nearest, but in the video I'm pretty sure he uses face project. So I'd say whenever it gets to that point, if you follow those, go with face nearest. It makes things much easier. Hi, Joe.
All right.
Hello, friend.
But what this will do with the snapping on, it'll make it so whenever you select a vert and you hit G to move it, it'll snap to the nearest face. And of course we're going to be doing topology, which is redoing the whole mesh, and we would want it to be on the top of our model that we just sculpted. You could quite early go through just using this and a mirror modifier, which we could add right here. Generate mirror modifier. Where's it hiding at? Oh boy. Yeah, let's turn this off, see where the hell my mirror is at. Okay, it's there. It could be hard to see this way, so that's why I was like going into talking about that, but I got sidetracked about missing our stuff. But you see how it's like right on the surface there, and it's a little bit off because our bent nose. Let's actually move
everything. Yeah,
we can actually move it up here, so it might be a little bit easier to see. Alt Z toggles your X-ray mode too, which is what I'm in right now.
Oh.
So if you're ever doing stuff where you're trying to move around verts and they're stuck in the mesh, like how it will be with almost every retopology that anybody does, you'll most likely be sticking in X-ray mode for most of the time you're doing retopology. But we got our mirror here. The thing that is definitely like a beginner thing to learn, wherever you put on the mirror modifier, you see like it does meet in the middle where the origin is, which we got way down there. It'll meet in the middle, but if you leave this off, no matter how good you are at lining this all up, like this looks like it's good here. Whenever we go to apply other modifiers to smooth things out before they're ported over to Unity or VC Face or VR Chat, or else you get to put it into Unreal Engine, it will have a crease down the middle because this is not connected. This as long as it's doing something like this, it's not connected. So the thing to remember, like I said, this is like a beginner thing. On the mirror modifier, there's this little thing that says clipping. You want to check that. Why it starts off not checked is beyond me. Because anything that I have done that I forgot to turn that clipping on, always looks like absolute bagged ass if I don't turn that clipping on. So whenever we move it to the center, now it'll merge together, and we can't move it back off to the right, but it's together now. You want a whole mesh, so it shouldn't be a reason we need to move it to the right anymore. You just move it on over, and they'll merge together, and they'll become one. And you can literally just pick these two verts here, and then hit E to extrude, and pull it on down your model, and you just go along. If you want to like get the baseline set up first, for like how you want to go along, then come through and just sort of move these around a bit, because you see it's like not fully attached like it should be. That is where the shrink wrap modifier and the subdiv modifier would come into play, because these are just what we have here. Or if you add in the, there we go, one too far to the left, solidify, which is something you're gonna most likely have to add anyway to the model, unless you're going for a low poly look. That is always an option too. And then I always forget if it's deform or regular. That's got the shrink wrap, I think. Yeah, deform in the modifiers has shrink wrap. The shrink wrap, you click the little dropper and target, and then you click on your model. Ta-da! It's like just sucking onto the head now. So it's working a little bit better. But that's on the surface. You always try changing some of these to try to get a better view of what you're doing, because right now it's sort of hard to tell where the mesh is. There's a few things you can do to fix that too, like come into object properties. And sorry if this is a sort of bit more advanced poking around, just so you can have better visibility and stuff.
That's fine.
But you go into object properties, the little orange square. It's the only one in the sidebar, so it makes it very easy to find it. Then go down to viewport display and hit in front. And that will make it, it's hard to see in X-ray mode, but if you pop out of X-ray mode, you'd see it now. It's like right on top. But if you get rid of that, you'd see it's in the mesh. Just the X-ray, the in front makes it easier to see it. And while you're working along, because you're quite literally just like shrink wrapping it to the model right now. As you add more to it and get more topology laid out, like you do the neck area, maybe put in a crease for making a seat and making it look like it's an actual separate head instead of just a blob like I have right now. As you get things more filled out, it'll start looking better, and it'll actually start matching up a bit more with the model as you keep going along. That's why I say, like, don't get disheartened if it doesn't look good whenever you're starting off. Still in that whole tunnel vision mode until we get done with doing retopology. So usually I'll keep it in front. You can change the color if you want, but you won't really see it unless you go to, where is it at? Was it in option? They moved it. I had to hunt down where the hell that is, but you can change the color for it too. I know that much. Or if you want to really easily be able to see it, let me take this back to baseline, so just in case it does mess with anything. You go to the little red ball at the bottom and hit the new button, and this is your materials. This is where you'll start getting the stuff that actually will be converted over to game engines and other things, for giving your characters color and textures and all other crap. Material stuff would have to be a completely different beast to tackle on its own.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
But there is that way to do it, but in general, I just stick with doing everything in the regular viewport shading that the project starts off in. Mainly because you like look underneath and sort of look for any gaps that might be there. It's like sometimes as you're going along, you might tunnel vision too hard and miss this one piece that you did, and whenever you look at it from underneath, it's like, oh, I can see right through the head. You know?
Speak from experience.
Yes. A lot of things that like I might go on side tangents for, it's because I had to deal with it myself in the past.
Understandable.
But some people are picky about whenever they teach how to do some of these things. And I chalk it up to like the same sort of thing. They experienced it, so that's why they're picky. I remember watching one video, I can't remember the dude's name. I sort of stopped watching him after he started pulling in with the AI bro bullshit. But he's like counting how many verts he went along while doing the neck, which it's very picky. It might sound anal, but it can make things matching up with the head coming to to that neck a lot better. Because that could be used for like using like a bridge or a grid fill. Grid fill is another example where you want to have an even number of verts, and that makes it so you can fill those in just using a single keystroke sort of thing. So it's going that little extra effort with using numbers essentially to be like, okay, as long as I put in 16 or 24 or some other interval of 4, I will get a clean grid fill that will have good quads too, which are squares. You want to model as much as possible in squares. Not to say that triangles are the devil, but
they're the devil.
yeah, they can be. But as I showed Coral with the Unreal Engine model, whenever a game model, like if you want to look at any game model, even like the ones that came from Marvel Rivals, since I know they put that out and everybody knows Marvel Rivals due to how popular it is of late. Whenever you port it over, unless they specifically put out files that are meant to be viewed in a 3D modeling engine, it will most likely be in tris, which are triangles. So we model in quads in Blender or Maya or whatever. Whenever you throw it into Unreal Engine or Unity or Godit, it will convert over to tris for their mesh in there. It's weird that it'll go from the modeling program to the engine and do it, but whenever you bring that from the engine over to the modeling program, you got to convert it back to quads. Like sort of a one-way street there.
It's strange that it does that.
Yeah, it's like I even showed you during that Unreal thing. Is like we could do this convert to quads, but it doesn't mean it's gonna work.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. I swear to God that I was following. You weren't following? Unbelievable!
Not for the last
Him?
how many years we've known each other. Part of why I did a big dump on my channel points many years back.
Hey,
Don't worry, I
Coral.
didn't follow Coral until like a year ago.
I followed Coral for a bit, then I ended up getting hit with that whole. A lot of people were unfollowed for whatever reason, like her, and I think Ferngul. I ended up getting unfollowed around that same time too. And I'm trying to think anybody else. Thankfully, it seems like Twitch hasn't been stupid of late, but it's yet to be seen.
As of late.
Why am I going so in depth on this? It's just supposed to be an example.
I never unlocked VIP on Coral.
There, he has
okay. I'm going live again at some point. I'm just not doing it as a like a full-time thing anymore.
Cole has found peace and harmony.
Your guy has a helmet now.
Yeah.
Well, the example guy has a helmet now. Yay.
He knows what's good.
Yeah. But the whole point of doing retopology like this is to take this high definition model, quote unquote high definition model, and use it as a base for making this lower poly mesh that could be used in other things. Like if you really crunched it, you could turn it into a mobile game asset. And the nice thing about having the sculpted mesh begin with before doing retopo is you can also get other things from it whenever you go to texture bake. So texture baking is whenever we use the materials that I just showed to project onto a UV map, which you get from your new mesh from retopology, and get what you see whenever you look at game texture maps.
Should put a voice filter on so your VTuber model sounds like you've got a helmet on. That would be really funny.
I don't like altering my voice. I'd rather just put people to sleep. But I have given it consideration in the past, so I will say that's. I think I looked at that voice meter or whatever it's called that has like the free voice changing stuff. But I was like, I'm not gonna do that. But as I was saying, it's like the texture, doing the UV unwrap much easier on this lower poly retopo compared to trying to put seams on this, which is what you'd have to do. You have to mark a seam to start getting your UVs set up, and whenever you unwrapped it, like we've done in the past, Coral. You'd see how like you can scale things up and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
And actually, like whenever you look at like a a character creator that has like different logos on the same shirt, all it's mainly doing is taking that section of the shirt, like the front section or the back section, and switching the texture map out for a transparent PNG, most likely, of that logo that's being switched out for it. So anything that you like change decals on a car, that's just a PNG being switched in the program.
Right.
Or any other image format that handles a alpha channel. So but yeah, it's close to 10 o'clock here. Gonna probably wrap up here and find somebody to raid. A voice changer? Oh, thank you, Kenneth. But yeah, if you have any questions or whatever when it comes down to Blender stuff, you feel free to DM me, Dante. I don't mind.
All right.
And if I don't know the answer right off the bat, or else I don't think I can explain it really well, I'd probably hit you with a video that is like, this is how I learned how to do it, but I still feel goofy just trying to explain it. So you might glean more from watching the video that I watched.
All right.
But yeah, I'll actually pull it up here. Where's that? I could bring that. I'll just bring it up because it doesn't really matter to me if people see it. Alright, see you later. Will, take cares. Be safe. But this is what I've been working on, and this is actually based off a model that I made with that playlist. But people should know who this is.
Is it a poly count loading in every time you move it?
Yeah, because whenever it's in this last thing, the viewport shader, this is rendered in preview. So this is what it looked like under lighting, which is what this little line is right here. But if I switch it over to just the material preview, it looks a lot flatter. This is not how it's going to look in the game or in VC Face or VR chat. Unless,
Okay, because
Um,
it felt like your computer had a freaking stroke.
oh yeah.
can I say something?
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the little dots every time you move it is just the render engine you're using. You're probably on cycles. You're probably on
No.
cycles instead of Eevee. Yeah.
Oh,
If you change it to Eevee, it will
I
do
forgot I
like
did
basic
change it.
lighting.
I don't use Eevee too often because I use a lot of procedural materials. I probably should just keep it in Eevee. They're doing a big update to Eevee with 4.4 supposedly. I can't remember what the hell they said. They put a video out not too long ago about it.
I don't make many things that look anime styled, so everything I use is cycles because I prefer the lighting and the look of it.
And it's less of a pain in the ass to set up glass and cycles too.
Mm.
How can something so simple be so fucking hard in Eevee? Which is one of the things they're actually updating.
Don't get me wrong, cycles does like
Faster.
tank your computer a bit, but and Eevee is just supposed to be faster. I see Eevee as a
What was it with Eevee?
as like a faster render for like tests.
There's something that I was having troubles with in Eevee in the past, but I can't remember what it was. At first I thought it was the rendering settings that we get more with cycles, since you can set min max, which I never mess with minimum anyway. It's just maximum that I set it to.
Yeah.
Mm.
Maybe it's a noise threshold thing. Is that in Eevee or no? Yeah, it was the noise threshold thing, because I'd mess with that sometimes with some of the stuff I do. But I also like to mess around a lot with compositing, and was just learning more about masking stuff in a video before I started stream here. Which is what I was originally going to do, work on a video, but then it's like got to teach what little bit I know. That sort of mode. But this is what I've been working on.
Yeah, you can also like you could especially tell with like what's it called? I4 Gore. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say.
It happens.
That's okay.
I don't know if it's, maybe I'm just using some more because of, like, they might have changed something with a more recent thing, but whenever I've been using the cloth simulation physics of late, it seems like it's been being a little bit less jittery than it used to be. Like, it's not clipping as bad, or I don't have to sculpt out the stuff barely going into the body there as much. Like whenever I did the pants, shorts, whatever the hell it is that she's wearing. I got this like baggy, sort of wrinkly look from just using cloth physics, and I didn't have to change anything really with that. It was just with the shirt, whenever I try to do, I gotta pull it back out of the pants some.
There.
But still think it looks much better in the rendered mode. Just wish I had a better graphics card.
I feel that.
It's been forever since I tested to see how good it renders on my CPU though, and I think I updated my CPU last. I'd have to look at my receipts, because I keep all that stuff so I can bother my boss, since I use my own equipment for doing my work. But yeah, Dante, the playlist I linked in the Secret Talks, you can get basically the same base mesh and everything. I've done some sculpting differences too, and that's what sort of set it up. Sculpted the ears too. Well, most of the ears. The tips, since I doubt she's going to be doing a whole lot of close-ups if she does decide to use it, are just planes. They're just a plane. Up in there. Noticing something that's changed since I last messed with stuff. Yeah, from the scalps coming through the top. Did I? Yeah, I did. Okay, I know what the hell the problem is. Never mind. I forgot that I applied mirror modifiers that I was using wherever I was making that was putting the hair mesh together to begin with. Been trying to work with curves more for doing the hair stuff. Still not confident enough with using the hair particle system.
Yeah.
I would like to use it more, but just maybe I'm picky with it.
Maybe.
You can make some really great looking stuff out of it. Some of the shit that I've seen out of the hair particle system is just awesome. It's just, is it usable? Outside of Blender, I mean, not just for like making animations or just still images, which some of them just look outstanding in. But following the tutorial as well also gives you a little bit of a, well, what do you call it? Example? Or a bit of like an experience of using Rigify, and I think Locky has mentioned using Rigify in the past, right?
Mm.
You use Rigify?
I think I have the thing installed.
Yeah, it's the Blender add-on just for adding the armature using
I think I have
human meta rig.
Yeah, I think I have the add-on installed. I'm not sure.
All right. Yeah.
I don't really make models.
Well, this is the first ever model that I actually used the Rigify on, following that tutorial. And
did it work?
Yeah, it came out pretty damn good.
Nice.
Only thing that I screwed up on was the right hand here. I forgot to have X mirroring on whenever I was doing the hands, but the rest of the body I had it on. It went off for some reason. Maybe I tabbed out and then went back and it turned off. You know how Blender is with some of the damn settings.
Yeah.
But go into pose mode, unhide all that.
I have to head out though.
Alright.
Have fun with your blendering. I just wanted to stop by and say hi.
But the eyes work just fine.
Adios.
Adios. Bye-bye.
Alright. Okay. I'm gonna have to head out too. I promised you I'd go to bed a little earlier tonight.
Yeah.
So I can get some more sleep.
I think I said like 20 minutes ago I was gonna find somebody to raid anyway.
Yeah. Alrighty. You guys take care. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you very much for joining me.
Yeah, of course.
Night night. Who to raid, who to raid, who to raid.
Well, for now, I'm gonna go. I bid you adieu.
Yeah, yeah. You have a nice night. Hopefully it wasn't all too confusing and some of it stuck. I tried sort of fitting it into my usual streaming times. Otherwise,
I'll be honest, I went through one ear and out the other.
oh, hey, whenever you do, like, whenever you're more awake or whatever, you can always hit me. Like I've been saying, just give me a holler, DM, whatever. If you happen to see me at a VC with Coral and it's a public one or whatever, it's like, hey, I got a question about Blender. Like, okay. Most likely if I'm in one with Coral, we might be doing Blender already. So.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Will do.
Night.
Alright, I bid you adieu.
Already just us chat. Not that one. I still am. Oh, I might have to look at the weight painting video. That's why I was coming to weight painting. Yeah. Okay. Gets it now. I got you, homie. Sorry. We're talking to myself while I poke at questions that I have. I think that's every. I feel like I'm missing one person. Apologies. I like to record who got. There we go. Who pops on in, which most likely once I do hit 1,000 followers, I might do a giveaway like I did with 100. I think it was. Or it might have been 500. And I like to use this information. Like, okay, each person that showed up for each day is given one entry into the raffle until as far back as I have recorded from the last raffle. So it's how I did my last giveaway. I actually used all that data that I had stored up. Where we at here? Sorry. Watch the chat. Tires. Ooh, I know. I have that muted so I'm not blaring anybody's eardrums out. Oh, he just started too. I think he's playing Avowed according to his stream title, but he's still set to just chatting. Looks like he might be troubleshooting something too. His 2D is slightly messing up on him. Fuck it, we do it live. Raid this fella. So raid message. Those that are subscribed and on Twitch, you use the first raid message. For those that aren't subscribed, use the second raid message, which has a global emote. You can use that emote, your own emote, somebody else's emote, any other emote. I don't care, just have fun with it. Thank you guys all again very much for stopping by and hanging out. Thanks to those that popped in, said hellos or chit chatted some. Not just on Twitch, but also on YouTube. Those that hung out and lurked, I appreciate that as well. Thank you. But we're gonna be rating Grizz Arctos, who plays a bunch of different games. He's still sort of new to streaming. He's at 89 followers right now. Pretty chill guy. He, him and his wife sometimes play games together on stream as well. That's whenever they have like the Kato asleep. Oh, I almost put in his wife's name instead of his name for the raid. And she's not even live at the moment. Zaya is her name. Zaya Arid Shade. Whenever you guys get over to her chat and to his chat. Again, nice little couple. They last time I saw them streaming together it was Minecraft, so anybody that's interested in that. They also both do art as well. Again, thank you guys all very much for stopping by. Hope you have a good day, night, and hopefully see you here tomorrow for some Warframe. I'm gonna be leveling up the well, I actually got 2 weapons that to level up, the Argos and whatever, and then prime weapon, the Astilla Prime, I think was what I was gonna be working on. But yeah, you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll see you then.